Hello YouTube, MrRetidy here. I'm going to be telling you my 12 favorite movies of 2012. And let's just start the list. Coming in at number 12, The Avengers. Uh, I thought The Avengers was good, could have been better, but I've seen a lot of bad movies this year. So I'm going to put The Avengers at number 12 because I did enjoy it. Number 11, Jack Reacher, starring Tom Cruise. Jack Reacher is based off the book One Shot, which I've never heard of before the movie. But I enjoyed the story of Jack Reacher, and it is an enjoyable movie. Number 10, Lincoln, directed by Steven Spielberg. I felt that Lincoln was great. Daniel Day-Lewis as Lincoln is like Lincoln coming to the future to play himself in a movie. He's a great actor, but the way he played Lincoln just looks more believable than any other actor playing Lincoln. I felt like the movie slowed down a little bit towards the middle. It could have used more Lincoln during the slower scenes, but it was a very good movie. Number 9, The Hobbit. I saw The Hobbit 48 frames per second in IMAX, and it was very interesting because I've never seen a movie in 48 frames per second before The Hobbit, and it looked like an animation at first. It looked like the actors were computer generated. They didn't look real. And it took a while before you actually, figure out that they're real actors. Your brain is sort of tricked because everything is moving a bit faster than the 24 frames per second that movies normally are projected on. I still prefer 24 frames, but The Hobbit was a good movie overall. I don't think I would have cared, to tell you the truth, if I saw it in 24 or if I saw it in 48, because it didn't really add anything to the movie. Number 8, The Amazing Spiderman. I enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man more than the Sam Raimi version. I think this one was a bit closer to the comic books than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and I enjoyed it. I think Andrew Garfield is a pretty cool Peter Parker. The Lizard was just awful, but they're gonna make a second one, so hopefully it'll be better. If you don't expect the first movie of a series to be good, that's the truth. The first one is always the one introducing the characters. So whatever. It was a good first movie. I hope the second one, of course, is gonna be a lot better. Number 7, The Expendables 2. The Expendables 1 was a very strange movie because it wanted to be serious, and it got serious. Towards the middle of the movie, it got serious, and a movie like The Expendables, you're not supposed to take serious. You have a bunch of old action movie stars. You're not supposed to take it seriously. The Expendables 1 just did not know what it wanted it to be. Did it want to be funny, or did it want to be serious? It had that stupid, just a bunch of stupid mini storylines that you don't care about. The Expendables 2 was great. It was funny. It had action. Didn't have that much CGI like all the garbage movies of today. It was a throwback to when action movies were good, to like 80s and 90s action movies, which I love. The Expendables 2 was great, and I'm glad that Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger were actually kicking ass instead of just talking like they did in the first one. Number 6, Men in Black 3. Men in Black 1 is one of my favorite movies. It's not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite movies because I just like the whole story, and the characters are very lovable. Men in Black 2 was not so good. Men in Black 3 was better than number 2. Not as good as number 1, obviously, but Men in Black 3, I enjoyed it a lot. I feel like Josh Brolin, captured the essence of Tommy Lee Jones very well, and the whole story was very good. Boris the animal was not as good as Edgar from the first one, but Men in Black 3 is a very good movie. And if they ever make a Men in Black 4, I hope they keep going in the direction of Men in Black 3 and don't do what Men in Black 2 did and try to make it, too funny, because that's kind of where it failed. It tried to be too much of a comedy, which the first one had its funny moments, but when you really think about it, it's not an entire comedy movie. It's got some funny parts, but for the most part, it's just an alien sci-fi with some funny moments in it. Number 5, Dread. Carl Urban as Dread. That is Dread, not Sylvester Stallone. And I like Sylvester Stallone, but Dread. That's real. That's real action right there. Not what I expected from the trailers that they showed. The trailers were garbage, which is partly why the movie flopped in theaters, because the trailers looked like ass and they didn't explain that this isn't a remake. This is an adaptation of the comic of Dredd, of Judge Dredd, and Dredd is very good. It's a good action movie. It feels a lot like a movie from the 90s of that gritty, gory, over the top action. And those are my favorite kind of movies. 90s and 80s action movies, and Dredd was just a real good movie to just to watch, to just bring back the feeling of when action movies were good, just like The Expendables 2 did. Blood was fantastic. I like movies with blood, and Dredd had an amazing scene in slow motion, bullets flying through people's heads, their heads caving in, and just blood gushing out the other side. CGI blood, but it was good blood. It wasn't like Ninja Assassin cranberry juice all over the place. No, it was good, realistic CGI Red Dead Redemption blood. 4, The Dark Knight Rises. I really enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises. I thought Dark Knight Rises was better than The Dark Knight, and I like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight had Heath Ledger, who was amazing as the Joker. But if it did not have Heath Ledger, it would not have been as good as everybody says it is. That's the truth. At least that's what I think. Because The Dark Knight Rises doesn't have as strong of a villain. Tom Hardy is a good Bane, but he's actually a worse antagonist. He does worse things than what the Joker did. But Heath Ledger was menacing in just the creepy Joker way. Tom Hardy was menacing in the strong bad guy Bane way, and I liked The Dark Knight Rises because it was more of a personal, Batman is down on his luck. He's broken. He's a broken man. It was a very good movie. Great special effects, grand scale. Christopher Nolan, good director. The scene with the bat, his helicopter thing, very cool. The ending was the reason it's number 4. The ending I thought was amazing. A lot of people complained that the ending wasn't good. A lot of people complained that the movie had a lot of plot holes. The movie might have had a couple of plot holes, but it's a movie. It's not supposed to be real life. If it was real life, it wouldn't be fun. If it was real life, none of that shit would have happened. Bane wouldn't be alive if that was real life. And people saying, how did Bruce Wayne get from the from the jail to the back to Gotham? Well, you see him walk into a city, don't you? You can only guess there's an airport over there. Something, it's a movie. Don't think so hard to try to understand something. Just enjoy it. And I thought Dark Knight Rises was very good. Coming in at number 3, I have seen every James Bond movie. I'm a big James Bond fan. And I have to say that Skyfall is my second favorite James Bond movie. It has an amazing story, amazing cast, and I would say my second favorite villain of the entire James Bond series, because for the past couple of James Bond movies, the villain has not been anything special. I did not like Casino Royale. I didn't like Quantum of Solace. I thought those were not James Bond movies. Those were just garbage. All right. Skyfall is the return of James Bond. He has gadgets. He has the car, the Aston Martin. All right. James Bond is back, and I cannot wait till the next James Bond movie, because now Daniel Craig showed me that he can be James Bond with this movie. This movie's amazing. The ending I thought was amazing. No. And coming in at number 2, Chronicle. Chronicle. That movie went a lot deeper and a lot darker than it should have gone. See, Chronicle is about 3 teenagers that find the rock, and then the rock gives them powers. It's underground, and then the rock gives them powers. And then they get superpowers, right? And they got all these powers, but they don't know what to do with it. So for the first half of the movie, it's a found footage movie, so they're filming it themselves with their own camera. For the first half of the movie, they're just doing pranks with their powers. They don't know what to do with it. But the thing is that it's a light-hearted movie at first. You're watching it, and the first half is really funny and light-hearted, except for the little bits where you see Andrew, the main character. You see him get bullied at school, and you see him get abused by his father at home. And his mother is dying, so she can't do anything. But he's getting abused at home. He's getting abused at school. But these powers, give him sort of an escape, and the movie becomes lighthearted, and he becomes friends with this kid, which he met at a party, and then they go get the rock, and then his cousin is there, and then his cousin gets the power. So it's the 3 of them. It's his cousin Matt, the dude, and then it's 3 of them, and they get the powers, and the movie takes a turn in the middle. It becomes a lot darker. Something bad happens to Andrew, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Something bad happens to him, and he does something bad. Because something bad happens to him, he gets angry, and then he does a bad thing, a really bad thing, a really, really bad thing. And then he does something else that's bad. Then he does something else that's bad. And then he becomes the primary antagonist, where it was his father at first, but now it's him. And basically, you don't see the sun in this movie after that point. It's just everything is dark. It's nighttime, and after that point, the movie just becomes deep and dark. You don't expect it to go that far. It just does. It just catches you by surprise and does. And then at the end, it's one long battle of Andrew versus his cousin. And they're just throwing shit, flying around Seattle, like messing up buildings and all this stuff. And like Andrew, I'm guessing his subconscious took over, because he goes to the Space Needle and he steals their phones and their cameras, and just starts filming everything. So the cameras do a 360, very, very cool. The cameras do like a 360 shot between Andrew and Matt while they're fighting. And it's his subconscious mind just doing that, and it's very cool. The movie, the way it's filmed, is very cool. The director Josh Trank did a great job with it. I like found footage movies, and I feel like lately found footage movies have just become a money grabber. They've become nothing but like the Paranormal Activity series, which I hate. They they serve no purpose other than to try to get your money. That's what they do. They serve no purpose whatsoever. And I feel like Chronicle is the return of found footage movie. And if it continues going this way, hopefully for a little while we won't get any more found footage movies. That way people would sort of, when we finally do get one, it'll be good and it'll refresh their minds of what a good found footage movie was. Chronicle reminds me a lot of Cloverfield, but I actually like Chronicle a lot more than Cloverfield. I feel like Chronicle had great character, great just great characters. It low budget movie, $15 million. That's low budget for now, but and the thing that I loved about Chronicle is it plays with your emotions, because you want to be angry at Andrew. You see what he does at the end of the movie, and you want to hate him, but you can't, because you've seen what he's gone through. You've seen him get bullied, get beaten by his father, and you really want to root for him and say, you finally picked yourself up and you got up there. But no, because he's a bad guy, you want to hate him, but you can't. It just plays with you that way. As no matter how much you want to hate him, you've seen what he's gone through. You've seen the things that he's seen through his point of view, because he has the camera. That's what makes the movie so personal. Chronicle, a great movie. I really don't think it would have worked if it wasn't found footage, and I love this movie, Chronicle. Number 1, Django Unchained. Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino's new movie, starring Jamie Foxx, Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kerry Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, Don Johnson. I can continue, because there's just so many good actors in this movie. And this movie, I did not expect to be as good. I mean, Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director, but I really just expected this movie to be another Inglourious Bastards, and I liked Inglourious Bastards, but it wasn't anything that was like, wow, that really blew me away. No, Django Unchained really blew me away. That's why it's number 1. Okay, Django Unchained. At the beginning, there's a lot of action and whatever, and then you see Django grow as a character, and then you see him change as a character with Dr. Schultz. You see that change. Same thing that Chronicle had. Things that good movies have, when a character changes throughout the movie. And then towards the middle, we're introduced to Calvin Candy, which is Leonardo DiCaprio, and it goes from being like sort of Django and Schultz are in charge, to Django and Schultz were just made bitches by Calvin Candy, because he's such an evil man, and the crazy thing is that you don't know who's more evil, him or Samuel L. Jackson. And the dialogue during the scenes where they're at Candyland at the plantation is just fantastic. They're sitting having dinner, and it's just going back and forth, and the tension is growing and growing and growing. But then, the tension drops and everything is cool, and the movie sets itself to be something, and then it just goes in a different direction. That is why it's number 1. If you have not seen this movie, you need to see it, because I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end. I am not going to spoil anything. You need to see it to believe. Just know what I'm telling you. Django is a damn fine movie, and that is why it's my number 1 favorite movie of 2012.